Hello everyone. Today we will start with Unit 2 Semiconductors and we will discuss the topic types of semiconductors and the concept of Fermi level. So first we will define what is a semiconductor. It is a material whose electronic properties lies between metals and insulators. So semiconductors which behave like an insulator at low temperature and behaves like a conductor at high temperature here. And the properties can be determined by crystal structure bonding characteristics and electronic energy bands. So silicon and germanium are the elemental semiconductor which are mostly used in intrinsic semiconductors, and 85% of the microchips are made up of this silicon. They have sp3 hybridization and having a tetrahedral structure. So silicon and germanium are elemental semiconductor here. So what is an elemental semiconductor is? If you see this, the example for elemental is antimony, arsenic, boron, carbon, silicon, germanium and silicon here. If you see this energy level diagram, where the transition of electron from conduction band to valence band takes place by emission of a photon and phonon. This is called as indirect band gap. So indirect band gap is the principle of elemental semiconductor, where the emission is by photon and by phonon here. Next type of semiconductor is compound semiconductor like gallium arsenide, indium antimonide and oxides of most of the metals, where the transition of electron from the conduction band to valence band takes place by emission of a photon light. This is called as direct band gap here. So direct band gap is the principle of compound semiconductor. Now I'll get into the types of semiconductor. The first is intrinsic semiconductor or pure semiconductor. Second one is extrinsic or impure semiconductor. Now we'll get into the intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor which does not have any impurities and behaves like an insulator at 0 Kelvin and conductor at higher temperature. The best examples is germanium and silicon, the fourth group element. Now if you take a silicon atom here, the atomic number is 14. And if you write down the electronic configuration, the valence electrons will have 4 here. So each silicon is have 4 valence electrons. Now if you take a silicon crystal lattice here, each silicon have the 4 valence electrons here, the neighboring also, and where the sharing of electron takes place. So a covalent bond is formed between them. So all the electrons are involved in formation of covalent bond and form a stable structure. They doesn't have free electrons for the conduction at 0 Kelvin. So if you see here, all the covalent bonds are stable here and we don't have any carriers for the conduction here. So it behaves like an insulator or non-conductor at 0 Kelvin. Now if you come to the room temperature, now covalent bond starts breaking here and electron goes from valence band to the conduction band and the conduction takes place. So more number of carriers are released for conduction, then the semiconductor behaves as a conducting material. So now we will get into look of the energy band diagram which explains the transition of carriers from valence band to the conduction band. This is the energy band diagram. The bottom is the valence band formed by the valence electrons. This is the conduction band and the gap between them is called forbidden band gap. Now in the case of intrinsic semiconductor, the electrical conductivity of the semiconductor depends upon number of electrons in the conduction band which comes from the valence band here. Now if the temperature is maintained at 0 Kelvin, then the valence band is full of electrons. We don't have any electrons in the conduction band or neither holes in the valence band here. So at low temperature, it is impossible to cross the energy barrier. So it requires a minimum energy to break the covalent bond. Suppose if you are taken for the germanium, it requires 0.72 electron volts to break the covalent bond and to go the electron from valence band to the conduction band. And for silicon, it requires 1.1 electron volt. If you just have a look at this figure, figure A is at 0 Kelvin and figure B is T greater than 0 Kelvin here. In the figure A, we don't have any electrons in the conduction band. All the electrons are filled in the valence band itself here, okay. And in figure B, at T greater than 0 Kelvin here, as the temperature increases, there will be breaking of covalent bond here and electron will be moving from valence band to the conduction band here. So a hole will be created in the valence band and we have electrons in the conduction band. So in intrinsic semiconductor, we say that at T greater than 0 Kelvin, number of electrons in the conduction band is equal to number of holes in the valence band here. So this is about the intrinsic semiconductor. Now I'll go into the extrinsic semiconductor. Before going this, we will know what is the term doping. So doping is adding of donor or acceptor ions to the pure form of an semiconductor. So the impurity atom should be in the order of 1 impurity atom per 10 million. That is a very small amount of doping is being done. So now we will get into the types of semiconductor, an extrinsic semiconductor, or we also call a doped semiconductor here. It was intentionally doped for the purpose to modulate the electrical, optical and structural properties here. The doping is intentionally introduced of the properties into the intrinsic semiconductor for the purpose of change in the electrical properties. So in addition of foreign atom, we will get an extrinsic semiconductor here and we will get a free charge carriers for the conduction. So in an extrinsic semiconductor, a foreign dopant atom is a crystal lattice that mainly provides the charge carriers which carry the electrical current through the crystal. So we have two types of extrinsic semiconductor, N-type and P-type, depending upon the dopant. We will discuss. N-type semiconductor is called where in this a pentavalent impurity atom is added. Example, phosphorus, antimony and arsenic here, and the majority charge carriers are electrons. This is P-type semiconductor when it is doped with an trivalent impurity such as boron, aluminium and gallium. We will get P-type semiconductor. In this majority charge carriers are holes here. So the more about this N-type, P-type we will discuss in the next topic, and we will have a difference between intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic is a pure form of a semiconductor and extrinsic is a doped atom. When it is doped with an impurity atom, we will get an extrinsic here. Intrinsic, the charge carriers will be only due to the thermal agitation, that is due to temperature. Whereas in extrinsic, it is with the help of temperature and also with the help of an impurity atom here. We can get the change in the charge carriers. The electrical conductivity will be low here, whereas in extrinsic, the conductivity will be high due to the doping. In intrinsic, low operating, it requires have a low operating temperature. Extrinsic have a high operating temperature. And Fermi level at 0 Kelvin in intrinsic semiconductor, it lies exactly between the conduction band and valence band. Whereas in extrinsic semiconductor, it will be closer to the conduction band in N-type and closer to the valence band in P-type. Example for intrinsic is silicon and germanium. Extrinsic is silicon and germanium doped with trivalent and pentavalent atoms. Now we will discuss the topic of Fermi level. So this is a term which describes the top of the collection of electron energy levels at absolute zero temperature. This concept comes from Fermi-Dirac statistics where electrons are fermions and they obey Pauli's exclusion principle. So if you see in a solid crystal, the free electrons occupy different energies. According to quantum theory, we have seen energy levels are quantized here. So one electron comes to the energy level of E0 and again second electron comes to the energy level of E0. Again the third one will come to the E1 because it is obeying the Pauli's exclusion principle, and thereby each one they occupy the electrons in the energy levels and so on. So if you have n even number of electrons, then there will be distribution of n by 2 energy levels, and the higher energy level will be completely empty here. So EF, a Fermi level which act as a reference levels between the occupied and unoccupied energy levels. So this is the formula for the Fermi level, Fermi-Dirac. F of E is equal to 1 by 1 plus exponential of E minus EF by K beta T, where EF is the Fermi level and K beta is the Boltzmann constant. So it gives us the highest field which separates the occupied and unoccupied level is called as an Fermi level here. Okay, and the energy corresponding to this level is called Fermi level. Now at 0 Kelvin, if you see this diagram, this is the case which we are discussing at T equal to 0 Kelvin, and at B, this is a figure at T greater than 0 Kelvin. At T equal to 0 Kelvin here, at E greater than EF, all the energy levels are empty, that is F of E is equal to 0. That is, there is 0% chance for the electron to occupy the energy levels above the Fermi level, and less than F, all the energy levels are occupied by the electrons. Now if you see at T greater than 0 Kelvin here, at E equal to EF, F of E will be equal to half. That is, there is 50% chance for the electrons to occupy the Fermi level at E greater than EF, that is at T greater than 0 Kelvin. This is the Fermi level in the case of intrinsic semiconductor, which exactly lies between conduction band and valence band. In the case of extrinsic n-type, the Fermi level lies exactly between the donor energy level and conduction band, that is EF is equal to EC plus ED by 2. In the case of p-type, the Fermi level lies between the acceptor energy level and valence band, that is EF is equal to EA plus EV by 2 here. So this is about the types of semiconductor. Thank you.